my concern is if a lot of the population decided to adopt grass-fed beef, then that is taking up
Too much
an
land.
extreme amount of land.
Mm.
It's hard to argue against the fact that it is not sustainable.
Well, that's another interesting point. Yes, grass-fed beef's perfect for the planet. Yes, it's reversing global warming. Yes, it's healthier and it's more ethical. But the thing is, there's not enough land to support 7 billion, 8 billion people now on the earth. This is where regenerative agriculture comes in. Right now, there's 100,000 acres of land in America that is currently fallow. Have you heard of monocropped agriculture?
Yeah.
So a lot of the times when growing, again, this is not an attack on vegans or vegetarianism, but a lot of the foods grown like corn, wheat, and rice, it's monocropped. So it's just one thing. And so what happens is there's no diversity at all, and the soil gets destroyed.
Yeah.
So what
It's
you want,
terrible. It's
you want,
terrible.
yeah, you want actually a balance, as you were saying before. You want balance between cows grazing on the surface, sequestering carbon, a whole mix of biodiverse plants and animals. Monocropped agriculture has destroyed hundreds of thousands of acres in America. The only way you can rehabilitate that land is by putting cows on there. That's the only way and the fastest way to do it. And so
It is the
with
fastest way to do it. But the thing is,
so
the
there's more than enough
majority.
land there to, is my point. There's more than enough land there to feed the whole of the US. And if every single country produces beef for themselves, there would be enough
Yeah,
to
well,
actually feed the whole planet. There's two arguments here. One is the ethicalness of the planet, global warming and how it impacts the planet. And the other one is the actual sentience of the animals. So I'm just like pushing this argument aside for now and just talking about global warming, because sentience is a whole nother can of worms.
mm,
If you choose to support grass-fed beef and especially regenerative agriculture, I think there's no actual argument there to prove why it's ethically wrong beyond just the killing of an animal.
yes. Look, well, the thing with that monocropped agriculture at the moment is most of it is food for factory farmed animals.
Yeah, which again I don't agree with.
Which again, so it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
The more land is destroyed to grow more crops for more animals that are factory farmed, which then has a net, obviously, negative effect on
Mm. Mm.
biodiversity and global warming
Mm.
and deforestation, obviously.
Mm. But that doesn't mean stop eating meat completely. That means
No,
you
and I'm
should
not arguing.
choose
I'm not
to
saying.
eat grass-fed, and then that would be ethical, and that wouldn't support the cutting down of 40% of trees in the name of grains and soy, right?
In the next few years, there needs to be some huge shift in the way that humans operate agriculture,
Mm.
and of all respects. And
Mm.
I'm a vegan, and one of the biggest causes of deforestation in the world is palm oil,
Mm.
and palm oil is vegan.
Mm.
But I don't eat products that have palm oil in it, because
Mm.
the absolute destruction that monocropped agriculture has caused is just,
Devastating.
it's devastating. And and
Mm.
and you look at timelines of satellite images of places like Borneo, and it's really depressing to, to,
Mm.
to see the amount of rainforest loss that has happened
That's right. I agree.
for that. And so yeah, this is what I'm saying. There needs to be,
Because
you
it's
know,
easy profits. If there was
yeah,
only factory farming and that was the only source of meat, I'd be very tempted to be vegan. As I said before, like I'm allergic to a lot of the protein that vegan diets need, but I'd be very ashamed to eat meat if the only source was factory farming. And it hurts my wallet buying grass fed all the time because it's much more expensive. But ethically, I actually am environmentally concerned. I don't want to support an industry that supports factory farming. I think it's the worst. There's thousands of tons of manure that should be a asset to actually helping the soil is now a liability because it's being dumped into rivers and destroying shrimp populations and the fish
You
and
see
all the
that. You
ammonia
see that with the
with factory farming.
and the hog farms, especially. It's
Yeah.
yeah, that's yeah.
If that was the only form of meat that I could consume, yeah, I'd be feeling very ashamed. But the thing is, to support grass-fed beef, you're actually supporting an industry where you're actually helping global warming. You're actually encouraging biodiversity. You're encouraging natural, holistic being one with the land and helping the whole planet.
Mm,
So, to me, at least from the research I've done, there's nothing ethically wrong beyond sacrificing an animal for your own consumption.
yeah. Yeah, look, I think your the way you're going about it is to be commended because you genuinely want to help the planet.
That's,
So,
well, yeah.
and I would I pity those who go about life
We're apathetic.
who take for granted the planet that we live on.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what you are, whether you're a vegan, whether you're a carnivore, whether you're a you know a farmer, whether you're a fisherman, I think that to be ignorant and go about life in a way that is detrimental to the planet, and knowing that
Mm.
as well, knowing that you're doing that, which is a lot of people will look at a video of a cow being slaughtered and go, that's horrible. And then
Mm.
in 4 hours they eat beef for dinner. Look, it's all good if you look at the cow and you can understand and you don't really get affected by that. But yeah, me as someone who um, is very empathetic and has always loved animals,
Mm-hmm.
um, and wildlife as well, um, I find it hard to eat to have something on my plate that's been alive.
Mm.
Well, plants are alive, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
No, I know what you
Walking
mean.
and breathing and
I'd love to touch on that. When I had organs for the first time, it's quite confronting in the sense that when you eat meat that's muscle meat, it's easy to detach yourself from the fact that it's an animal that was once alive and living and breathing. And I think a lot of people in society, yeah, they're aware that it was once alive, but they don't really like
they're not grateful for the
appreciate it
fact that that's
holistically.
now on their plate and they get to
Yeah.
enjoy it.
But by having a heart literally in front of me, it looks like a human heart because it was a lamb heart. And I was thinking, wow, this is literally another life form that I'm eating. I'm not hugely religious, but by looking at this heart, I felt so appreciative of the fact that this animal died so that I could continue living in this beautiful cycle of life.
Mm,
You see, it's like the native Indians when they eat, they don't take any more than they need. They only take what they need and they respect the land.
yeah.
You know, right now there's a third of all food being thrown into waste in America because there's such lack of regard. But for me, when I was looking at this heart, I said, you know, if these animals can have a good life, say they're grass fed, they're not in a factory farm, they're not being tortured. I'm sorry that you had to die. You are kind of living through me now in this beautiful natural cycle of birth and death and life. Just like what happens in the world with zebras being eaten by the lion, being eaten by whoever's high on the food chain. Yeah, of course, death is awful, but death is part of living and part of life. I think if you can be grateful, like that's why I think religion's a beautiful thing. Every time before they eat, they bless their food. In this world that we're currently in, this modern society, there's such a detachment from the food. There's such a detachment to the point where we're wasting a third of all food and there's this disregard for even life.
Yes, that's a very poignant point that you've made. We all live on this planet,
That's right.
and yeah, in Israel, obviously, a big part of Jewish religion is you bless the food before you eat
Yeah.
every meal, whether it's a snack, whether you're having a drink, even the smell of flowers as well.
Mm.
And it really struck with me. Like I think that even myself, I'm guilty of it. You know, taking for granted what I'm eating, what I'm wearing as well. Like
Mm.
who made this T-shirt?
That's
Like,
right.
and I think if everyone can be more connected to that part of their life, then a lot of people will be happier. as well.
That's right.
And it'll
Exactly
come
right.
to me more grateful. It's just, it comes down to gratitude, really. Being more grateful for what you have.
Mm.
We buy a lot of produce from the local market that's been, grown by
Local farmers and
local
local.
farmers as well. So yeah, and that's the cycle that you need to support,
Mm-hmm.
and as well, the food is better, the food is fresher, and it
Mm.
tastes better, and I think, yeah, as I said before,
Mm. Mm.
everyone will be happier if they're more connected to.
That's right. And I hate sounding preachy because I hate being one of those people. But, like your money literally dictates what's going to be alive financially in the next 10 years. And so by choosing whether to invest your money, say, in grass fed versus factory farming or in local farmers versus industrial monocropped agriculture, it really makes the difference.
That's right.